Well, it's finally happened. I'm banned. Banned from buying books. That's right. I no longer can go to the store or find a good deal at a thrift shop and come home with more pages to sniff or to read or to have on my shelf to stare at me and make me feel good about myself and how my shelves look. I no longer can do that. And I wanted to find out why. I wanted to find out why we're putting this rule in place that I can no longer buy books. And I flipped every single book around that I haven't read. And it turns out there's a lot. There's a lot of books. Do you see this? That's only this upstairs shelf. There's another shelf downstairs. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to show you piece by piece which books I haven't read. And we're going to go ahead and, make it look like this by the end of this video. And yeah, I can no longer buy books. And, there's going to be some rules. Like the Bromance Book Club, those books always on the table. We're able to get those. But for a short time, I need to make sure I can read, the collection I have before I buy more. I'm on a temporary book buying ban until after my birthday this year, which is in August. So we're going to have a solid, 3 months without buying books. So yeah, let's find out how many books exactly I have that, I haven't read yet. The first shelf upstairs and see what exactly I've read and what I haven't read. So let's take a look. Let's just kick things off. So I haven't read Rage of Dragons series, but I own it. I don't know why. I haven't read the Justice of Kings series by Richard Swan. I haven't read Children of Blood and Bone. I read this halfway twice and I didn't finish it, and I don't know why, but yeah, it's getting flipped because I haven't finished this book. It's been on my shelf for years. Sister Song by Lucy Holland. We have the newest one of the newer Dragonlance books. I did read Fear Nessie, and I've read Kith and Kin, and Rhythm of War, and these. Cool, I'm getting there. Haven't read this Samira Pierce book yet. Let's see. I just bought this, Hounded, and I haven't read the entirety of the Witcher series at all, which is a bummer. But, I watched the TV show. Does that count? I don't know. Oh, this looks so ugly. Maybe I should have done the other direction. I don't know. But let's see. I have read the Poppy War series, so those will stay. But I haven't read The Wheel of Time. It's so intimidating. I don't know. Like, reading 16 books does not sound appealing at all. And yeah, I haven't even started. I think I have the first one on Audible too. The Girl of Fire and Thorns. I forgot to read that this last month because I was like, flowers. It has flowers on it. The Alchemist by Nicholas Flamel. I haven't read the sequel to Priest, Thief by Matthew Colville. Have read The Sword of Kagan. I have been wanting to read these forever, but I think this is the year because the third one finally comes out, and so I can finally start this series. I have to read this book because my wife bought it for my birthday forever ago, and I kind of forced her to because she's like, I was going to buy that for you, but then I was like, you have too many books. And the problem still stands. I still have too many books I haven't read, and that's a problem. That's why we're here, is so that we can, get a good count of what's going on here. So let's see here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 books on the first shelf. It looks so bad now. Okay, on to shelf number 2. Okay, so we're starting off terribly. The Bone Shard Daughter trilogy by Andrea Stewart. Oh my gosh, we gotta stand up even further. I'm getting old. When you turn 30s and in your 30s, it's rough. Alright, so the Bone Shard's Daughter series, I have the whole trilogy, so I feel comfortable reading it now, but I haven't read it yet. So that's going there. I want to read this year because it just sounds really cool. And Yeah, and they look really pretty on the shelf. Legendborn by Hyun. I got in a book like haul or a book thing from OfferUp. Haven't read it. Iron Widow. Got it from a Pango Books when I was selling books on there. Haven't read it. Furyborn. My wife got halfway through. We haven't read it. Haven't read it. My only N.K. Jemisin book, The Killing Moon. Haven't read it. The Grace of Kings, because I felt like I had to have it. Haven't read it. The Name of the Wind and Wise Man's Fear and the Patrick Rothfuss novella. Haven't read it. And so we can flip those over too. Man, I haven't had a single good book here yet. Let's see, Liza Lakamora. Haven't read it. Red Seas Under Red Skies. Haven't read it. I have a random Dragonlance books. It's like book 6 in the series. Probably should get rid of that, but haven't read it, obviously. Haven't read the other Dragonlances either. We got halfway through this one, which was really fun, but I just didn't finish it. It was when I was reading out loud, and then Finn was kind of like alert and more exciting and wasn't, needing to be breastfed at night. All right, we're on to the good stuff. We have read all of these Brandon Sanderson books. Heck yeah. And then we get to here. Haven't read Hyperion. Haven't read Robin Hobb's Assassin's Apprentice, but I own it. Haven't read The Wizard of Earthsea. And The Outlaws of Sherwood. You guys saw me buy that one. So that's cool. Let's see. Haven't read The Outstretched Shadow. I don't even know where we got that. I haven't read A Touch of Darkness and A Touch of Ruin. I only have those two of the series. My wife loved the first one, and so that will probably be something I end up reading. Hopefully this year or next year, whatever, soon. I'm getting into the dark romances. My wife, oh no, turning it backwards is rough. My wife read Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I haven't read it yet, but it's here, and she really liked it. She loves werewolf smut. And then we have Evoking the Blood. And then, let's see. Just picked up The Silent Patient at a thrift store for like $2, and it's like a cool copy. I haven't read We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. I haven't read Dead Space by Kaylee Wallace, but I don't think a lot of people have. I got that for my birthday years ago when I first started getting into books, and I just never read it. The Strange Case of Jekyll and Hyde. Small book, haven't read it. Hidden Pictures, haven't read it. And House of Leaves, haven't read it. I'm going to flip those around off camera, and then we're going to get a shot of everything. Alright, this is rough. Like, I thought I read it, I was like, oh, second shelf's going to be easy because of all the Brandon Sanderson books, but not even close. We're on shelf number 3, which should be a mixed bag. I feel more confident in this one, but it's still too many. Yeah, that's depressing. Let's go check it out. Here 4. Don't need to use the step stool anymore, so that's nice. We have read all of the Skyward series, which is great, but then we haven't read any of the Blake Crouch Dark Matter or Upgrade. We also haven't read the Andy Weir Project Hail Mary. And then I have this book, which is literally just a sequel to another one, Foundryside, and I've been looking for the hardcover Foundryside because I also got this in that OfferUp like book bundle, and yeah, so that's exciting. We got Black Sun, haven't read. Spider Touch, haven't read. I have read Gideon the Ninth, but I haven't read the rest. And also we have The Red Rising. Totally read the first one. Haven't even started the rest of the series, and I have all of them except for Lightbringer. And yeah, why do I do this? I start one and then I go, cool, we're moving on, because I just got to get a piece of all the good stuff out there. Again, Dresden Files. I've read Stormfront. I've read half of Full Moon, but I didn't finish Full Moon. And I have more of the series that I find at thrift stores, and I was like, cool, I'm just gonna keep adding it to my series because I'll eventually get to it. I have read these 3. I have read The Deadly Education, the Scholar Man series. Haven't read The Secret History. Just bought it because I was like, I need to read that. Haven't read Red Queen. even though I heard good things about it. Haven't read Ninth House. Again, this was with the Offer Up book haul, and I was like, sweet, and kept the ones that I'd eventually want to read. But I have read the Atlas 6, which is great. And then we move on to some of my wife's books. We got Howl's Moving Castle, which is nice. We have Once There Were Wolves, which I haven't read. I haven't read any of these. The Last Quinceañera, which was also in the Offer Up book haul. Early Girl. Haven't read that. And The Fault in Our Stars. Haven't read that either, you know? Saw the movie, and my friend, you know Kent, he just recently learned it. Really liked it. So I'll eventually get there. So now let's look at what that shelf looks like. Alright, so I forgot to count, but we got 24 books on that shelf that we didn't read, which gives us a total of 80 unread books so far. That's only with 3 shelves. Alright, let's move on. Alright, so you'd think with this small thing, this small shelf, this center shelf, right, that we wouldn't have very many. Well, of course you know that these are my TBRs I'm currently reading, and so they're not read. And then I actually haven't read a lot of my collected editions. So The Grapes of Wrath, sorry Kent, still haven't read it. Dune, haven't read it still, but I got a nice version of it. And then we also have The Frugal Wizard's Guide. Haven't read it. Handbook, haven't read it because everyone says it's bad. And then, well, not everyone, okay? Everyone says the worst Brandon Sanderson project, and so I just haven't had the heart to read it. This one will be read soon, The Sunlit Man. Haven't read that either. I started it, but I just didn't get into it, and I was like, we'll save it for another time. I'm going to read that soon. So that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books on that shelf that are not read. This last shelf is going to arguably be the worst of all of them, because I forgot to organize this last shelf. I just put things here. And a lot of it is a mixed bag, but a lot of it has been recently. Since I started this channel, I've bought a lot of these books because, you know, I'm insane and I like finding deals at thrift stores and at Bookman's and things of that nature. So we're going to go through this. $1Q84 I picked up the other day at Bookman's, and yeah, haven't read it, but I couldn't resist getting it with its hardcover glory. The only one I've read is Yellowface. We also have this book, The Librarianist. You know, looks great. I heard good things, just didn't read it. We have some romance novels like People We Meet on Vacation, and then we have some Agatha Christie, Death on the Nile. We have one that I recently bought that you saw with my Mother's Day book shopping spree, and that is going to be The Bullet Swallower. That's going to be read sooner than most. This one I bought because it won an award, and that is Blackouts by Justin Torres. And, you know, I want to read it, which is cool. We also have Remarkably Bright Creatures, which I've heard great things about. And it's part of Read with Jenna, you know? Read with her. Read with Jenna. I have a non-fiction book about Dungeons & Dragons called Slaying the Dragon, which I haven't read. I also have The Great Gatsby. We also have Herc by Fonika Rogerson. People say it's like the Song of Achilles, or at least the back said that, and I was like, well, yes, please, I want more of that. So there's that. We also have The Wager. There's been a lot of wagers at thrift stores lately, but it was like a book that I'm interested in, a nonfiction book as well. We'll get there. I have read Green Lights, which is cool. The Underground Railroad. Haven't read it, but you know, I probably should. I also picked this book up at a thrift store, The Woman in the Library. Looks really cool. I like the art. And then we also have this one, Virgil Wander, Leaf Enger. You know, I don't know what name that is, but Kent has that book. We're supposed to do a buddy read on it at some point. So we'll go from there. I got this book. I met the lady who wrote it, The Freedom Writer's Diaries, and it's signed and made out to me, which is really cool. But, you know, I saw her talk about all these cool letters and just didn't read it. And so we also have The Book Eaters by Sunny Dean. We got Neil Gaiman. This is the only Neil Gaiman book I have. Oh my gosh, we're so stuffed here. It's called Smoke and Mirrors. Pretty cool. I've read half of the short stories in here, but haven't finished it. We have Throne of Glass, from we're going to start that. And then we finally reach some stuff I have read, which is A Court of Thorn and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, which is great. And then Call of Blood, read it. Shifting Threads, the sequel, haven't read it, but it's here. We have Water for Elephants, which Kent gave me. He has a book club, and so he buys 2 copies because his girlfriend's in it too. And every time he's done with it, he's like, you need to read this. And I go, okay, cool. So Water for Elephants. We have a manga, and we have a manga I haven't read, which is the One Piece ones. I'm not going to count those. I'm not going to count those at all. I'm actually not even keep these, unfortunately, because I'm not ready to jump into One Piece yet, but we'll see. And then we have some books I've read. Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. We got House of the Seven Gables, which is a horror fantasy novel or something like that. I picked up at a free little library. We also got Isaac Asimov's The Foundation series, or Foundation, the first one. We got Vespertine, which is cool. Young adult vampire stuff. I also got a free little library. She Who Became the Sun, I'm very excited. I'll be reading that soon. You'll see me read that one. We have Uprooted by Naomi Novik. We also have 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window. Heck yeah. And Handmaid's Tale. We just picked those up at thrift stores. When I say we, means me and Kent. I spent too much money doing that. Not really. They were like $1. We also have Jennifer Saint's Ariadne. We saw that was getting popular. Had to pick it up. Again, we were off the high of Song of Achilles. We have The One, which has been on my TBR forever, and I finally saw it at a place, so I bought it. We have 3 books by David Sedaris, which I'm just excited to get to because he just sounds really cool, which we have Naked, and we also have Dress Your Family in Corduroy and Denim. So we'll see. I also have Catch 22 by Joseph Heller. And then, we got a book I read. We got the House in the Cerulean Sea, The Art of Racing the Rain, the Bromance Book Club, Undercover Bromance. Haven't read it, but I'm going to next month join the book club by reading it with us next month. We then have these really crazy, kooky books that we pranked my wife with called Pearls and Potions and the Vampire Knitting Club. And well, she started it, and she says they're really bad, and she has 5 of those books. And you know what? We might eventually read those on the channel. What's been really interesting is a lot of this collection gathered from my wife as well. When we got married, I got a collection of books from her too. So, Frederick Bachman's section, I haven't read The Deal of a Lifetime, which I'll probably read around Christmas time because there's a Christmas thing. I just finished the grandmother book, so I bought Britt Marie Was Here during the Amazon days, which is nice. And I haven't read Anxious People yet either, but I read the Beartown series. Oh, shucks darn shoot. So there we go. We got the next shelf done, or the final shelf upstairs done. We have a couple books off to the side, but those I've read. $42 books, and just for good measure, we're going over to my wife's side of the nightstand, and we have the Vampire Knitting Club, which is over here, which is 43 books unread at the bottom shelf. So that's a lot of books. Pardon if you saw the messy bed, but yeah, let's get the whole total. So upstairs alone, we have 129 books that are unread. Can you see why I'm book banned now? Can you see why I am banned from buying books for a while? I have 129 books I haven't read at home. And I think the most I've read in a month is like 7. So that's a lot of months. But luckily, my wife says I can buy books after my birthday, which usually means like you're going to get some birthday money and then you can spend books. So I have plans for that, to be able to get some sequels this year, but I have to be cautious. So now we're going to go downstairs, and then we're going to check those books out, and we'll get a grand total then. All right, we are downstairs in front of the tiny bookshelf, and I'm nervous. This is where all the books I definitely haven't read are, and that's exciting. So we already have 129 starting down here, so let's see how far we can go. All right, we got a different angle because there's a wall here, you know, and all that jazz. So, you know, starting with a kid's book, The Bone Charmer. It just sounded cute, and you know, I want to buy things for Finn. And yeah, so we just bought that at a thrift store for like $1, which is nice. Looks great. We got some books that my wife wanted to make sure we kept, which is going to be for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough. We have Their Eyes Are Watching God. We also have Ernest Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea. I don't know if that's mine or hers. We have The Fig Eater, which was hers, but I haven't read it. We have Everything Matters. Some good reading, like honestly, great books. We also have our first Cormac McCarthy book, which is The Road. And we also have, you know, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. My wife made sure to keep that because, man, you really zoomed up on my face. I apologize for the low quality of this video. It's just, you know, I wanted to take you on this journey to find out why I've been banned. But she kept the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter because, you know, she just loves it. It's so good. It's cheesy. Okay, we also have The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. That's 4 books right there. So sad. So sad. That bums me out so bad. Why haven't you read them, you know, as a fantasy fan? We have Love in the Time of Children. That's cool. In the time. Love in the Time of Cholera. There you go. The Time of Children. We got another thrift store book of mine, The Thursday Murder Club. Picked it up for $1. Loved it. We have Push by Sapphire. We have God is Dead, which I haven't read, but my wife loves. We have, let's see, The Great and Terrible Beauty, which is a classic, I think. I don't even know. These are just books I acquired when I got married. And you know what was funny? You ready for this awesome story that my wife will never let me like live down? Is she says, when I first met you, you were judging someone by saying they were very boring because all they did was read. And whoa, look at me now. I'm a reader. I'm boring as can be. But I didn't know at the time. I guess I just fell away from reading just a little bit. You know, I was just like on a date. It was right before I met my wife. I went on a date with this person and all they did was just watch The Office and read books. And honestly, number one, I'm fine if you like The Office, but there's like a lot of people that were just obscenely obsessed with The Office, and I just wasn't part of that. And so we couldn't talk about anything, and so I just said that person was boring. But you know, I didn't even ask them about what books they were reading. That was rude of me. That was a terrible date, you know? And because books are incredible, they send you to different worlds, and I don't know. That was rough. That was very judgmental of me. So anyways, when we got married, my wife brought all the books into the relationship, and they were kind of hidden in a closet, essentially, and now they're out. I'm proud and out here. I've had this book for way too long. I bought it because the cover, The Coward, and just the aesthetic of it, and just haven't read it. I know we just cruised through a bunch of books, but I thought that was a fun little story, a little tidbit that my wife makes fun of me about all the time, that I once said that reading was boring. And look at me now. Alright, we also have Mama. We have, I think like almost every book on the shelf is not read. Yeah. Every book on the shelf is not read. Can't believe that. Alright, well, we have 2 books that have been read. The rest have not. Last one's Kindred, which I really want to read because it sounds awesome. Alright, 29 books on the first shelf. Downstairs on the tiny bookshelf. Alright, so add that up. We have 158 is our total of books unread. Second shelf isn't going to be much better, I'm afraid. In fact, I think all of them I haven't read for sure, except for one. So that's exciting. And so I don't even know if I'm going to flip them because I know the one, because we're just going to showcase the one upstairs. I'll do it for aesthetics. You got me. You got me. Playing for pizza. Got it just because there's the word pizza in it. Larry McMurtry, Lonesome Dove. Awesome. Larry McDavid. Bonkers. That'd be funny. I would read a Larry McDavid book. Catcher in the Rye, classic. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This book I plan on reading this year, and that is Lonely Castle in the Mirror. I got plans for a certain theme to kind of fit that in there. I was giving that to one of my friends. Book of Poe. The case book of Sherlock Holmes. A Wrinkle in Time, which is one of my wife's favorites. Very awesome. We have, what is this? Oh, another Sherlock Holmes. Oh man, I should read some Sherlock Holmes. Incidents of the Life of a Slave Girl by Harriet Jacobs. I almost made up a person's name. The Lover's Dictionary. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. That's a classic and a shorty. The Iliad, which I read in school. It's been a while. Homer's The Iliad. I'm going to count that. I know the story of the Iliad. I read it in school. There you go. We got 3 books here. Ooh. We might hear some news in the background. We got 3 books here. The Huckleberry Finn, but I really count that as one book, Save the sadness. Dracula. Haven't read it. Sad day. Frankenstein. Haven't read it. We did read Fahrenheit 451. We haven't read Treasure Island, and we haven't read The New Guinea Tapeworms. So there you go. That's exciting. So we only have 2 books that we've kind of read. One of them is a technicality because it was school reading. The other ones, haven't read them. Know about them. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's. Everyone should have 18 books on the second shelf downstairs, which brings our total to 176. Yikes. 176. All right, we got another shelf, which I have read a lot of these books, but it's still going to be pretty rough. All right. So we have the Empire series. We got 3 of those books. It was given to us by my wife's sister. So those get flipped around. I heard good things. Haven't read them. Yeah. We have read most of Tamora Pierce, except for First Test and Page and all those. Protector of the Small, I think is what it's called. Haven't read those yet. I will get to it. I love Tamora Pierce. They're very fun reads, and I kind of like the cozy feel of them, and probably will read them around the holidays for some reason. That just sounds fun, We also have this, The Queen of Autola and The King of Autola, and so there we go. Quick and easy shelf, not too bad, and it still adds quite a bit of numbers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 books! 9 books in here, which brings us up to 185. Oh my gosh. 185 books unread so far. Duh. All right, this last shelf I'm very excited about, but also haven't read a lot of these books. Have read a few, but I haven't read a lot of them, which I'm not going to count some of them, okay? Some of them are purely coffee table books, okay? And that's just, they're just books. Okay, so for example, Your Baby's First Year. All right, we counseled this. This is like a cool little book to like counsel once in a while. I'm not adding that in a book that I need to read before, I start buying books, okay? That's just kind of like, hey, you had a baby. Same with What to Expect While You're Expecting, same thing. We also have like the Crystal... this thing, Crystal Directory. I'm never going to read the Crystal Directory. Not interested in it. Don't want to read it. These are kind of our coffee table things, like witchy books, parenty books, just kind of fun things that are kind of like, I'm never personally ever going to touch. Everything else, fair game. Those ones, we're not going to count, okay? So I'm only going to flip half of them. You know, the rest of them are just kind of like this one. Like, OMFG bees. Rad. Rad book. Cool art. Cool art about bees. It's a coffee table book, okay? Alright, so now since we know that rule, alright, that helps me out big time, makes me less sad. I've read City of Brass, but I haven't read the other ones, okay? So like Kingdom of Copper, Empire of Gold, I own those ones. I don't own River of Silver yet. So haven't read those get flipped around. I was gifted this book. It was just kind of like a random purchase from someone, and it's The Shadow of What Was Lost. And you know, it's really pretty on the shelf. It makes you want to buy all of them, and just haven't read them. We also have the sequel to Lonesome Dove, which is Dead Man's Walk. Haven't bought it, haven't read it. Haven't read the first one, so I haven't read that one. We also have a nonfiction book about Leonard Nimoy, and haven't read that yet either. And then the last one is short stories, which I've read a few in. This is like a gradual reader. Pirates and Ghosts. It's very inspirational for Dungeons and Dragons, but I just haven't read it all. I haven't read all the short stories, so there you go. So on this shelf we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last shelf, which brings our total to 191 books that I have not read. So the question, what have I learned from this? Well, I almost have 200 books on my shelves that I haven't read, which means I keep buying books without reading the ones I own, which makes sense. It makes sense why I have been told that I am banned from buying books. And what does that mean for the channel? Well, it means a lot of things, right? You're not going to be seeing that many book hauls coming up, but that isn't going to stop fun videos. Like maybe we're going to build a free little library, and that's possible. Maybe we're going to go garage sale shopping and sell books, and maybe that will be able to help me buy one book from there. So there's still going to be like some leverage points. But the book ban gets released in September, you know, or the month after my birthday. So as soon as my birthday happens in August, which is in late August, then I can start buying books again. And so hopefully I could be able to chunk down quite a few. That gives me 3 months of reading, which means I hopefully could get that 191 to like 161, which would be beautiful, right? If I could read 10 books a month, that'd be amazing. Also a lot of work, but because I'm not doing book hauls, then maybe that will work out. Doesn't mean I can't buy books for people either, so maybe we'll do that as well. So yeah, I bought a lot of books, and you know, granted, it seems like I spent a lot of money, but a lot of these also were gifts for Christmas, like, hey, my Amazon wish list, blah, blah, blah. There's an Amazon wish list, the link below. I'm not buying them. I don't know. Well, and then, you know, you can do whatever you want with that. But yeah, I haven't bought every single one of them. I just feel like I'm going to read it and then just find them at a thrift store for $1 or whatever. It's just crazy. I'm crazy. And let me know in the comments if you're as crazy as me. You know, like, is this normal? Is this too many books? I don't know. Almost 200. I can't believe that. Anyways, thanks for watching this crazy unhinged video, and I hope to see you guys next time. And toodles.